Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gen Con TV. I am being joined by, of course, some of the coolest people you will ever meet. Thank you, though, before we get into those introductions, I want to say thank you for joining us for TableTakes this week. Let's get to know our hosts. Jayveon, let me ask you a question. What have you been up to recently? Ooh. Mm. Oh, good. Well, as long as you're learning things about yourself, I think that's the key thing to therapy. Okay, let's keep that. Let's keep that for the for a little bit later. How about that? Okay. Next up, Jayveon, are you? I can hear Jayveon. Oh, Jayveon might be muted. Jayveon.
Hear me?
No.
Yeah, we
It
can
looks
all.
like I'm on.
Do
Oh, no.
it again!
So
Turn
Jayveon, why don't you let us know now that they can hear you? Why don't you let us know? They let us know. Wait, hold on. Why don't Jayveon you talk and I go away?
Oh, okay. Hi everybody. I was.
Jayveon, you're here.
Hi. Oh my God! When did you get here, bud? Can you hear me?
It's so nice to
Can you
have
hear
you,
me now?
Jayveon.
So nice to have me too.
So what have you
I'm
been up to
here.
this week?
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can hear you.
What have I been up to this week? I've been working on. I've been working on my emotional state, my mental state. Self-care. I've been doing a lot of therapy. I've been
Good.
talking to my therapist about the voices that are in my head. What I was
Mhm.
trying to say earlier was that they were becoming not quieter, but a little bit more discernible from one another. So now I can actually hear what they're trying to tell me. Like now everyone else can hear what I'm trying to tell you.
And I wanna give a quick shout out to Jayveon. Jayveon initially told this story with a energy, fervor, and passion that is unreplicatable. So that's on the tech side of this. Jayveon, thank you so much for sharing. I
Yeah, of
appreciate it.
course. Absolutely. Also, I've been working on some very exciting stuff for TableTakes game night. I've been working very hard to provide you all with some really cool content that you're going to be excited to play in, but I'm saving that for later.
I
Cannot
can't wait
wait.
for Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Yeah, well, I was gonna. I
Oh, sorry.
spoiled it. It's okay. It's
Spoiler.
okay.
Oh
Yeah,
my
Dungeon
God.
Crawl Classics is coming up. A lot of other really cool games we're gonna get to play.
Let's not do it. Don't do it next week, though. I won't be here.
Okay, we won't play it this week.
I,
We won't play it next week. We'll play it only when Peter gets back. Okay.
right.
Absolutely.
Privileges of rank. Yeah, but how am I exploiting my position as the producer for Gen Con TV? I demand to be in Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Well,
Very reasonable ask.
since we're already here, Peter, what have you been up to?
Well, I'm excited to be here with you all today. I love this show. I was just saying, Friday afternoons is a highlight of my week. This week, I also have friends in town. Adrian Sportout, which used to be the CEO of Gen Con, is staying with me. And Johnny Emmerich, who used to run events at Gen Con. It's like an old Gen Con reunion happening right here in my condominium. So, yeah, not old. Uh-oh, Adrian just said not old. She took exception to that. Sorry about that. I'm also in Actoroki Heaven Week. That's instead of calling it Hell Week, it's an expression of how much I love doing digital editing. I really do like it. But next week I will not be here on Table Takes. I will be at PacificCon, and so that's not what I'm doing this week. That's next week, but I won't be here, so I have to tell you about it now. There you go.
Thank you. We'll miss you.
Yes, that's right. You're muted, Marcus.
No.
Oh my gosh.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you skip me.
Keeps
This is what happens
happening.
when we let Marcus host.
My will
Every
be
single
done.
time.
Jayveon, you were muted last time.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. I didn't press any buttons, though. That wasn't me. That was technical
okay.
stuff on somebody else's end.
Oh, okay.
That was
When's
God.
it-
God said, we're
I
not hearing
court
from
this
him.
God
AI.
said no. Anyway, my name is Marcus, and if you haven't seen me before, it's because I am behind the camera, usually, setting up and running the streams here at Gen Con TV. These are lovely, talented, awesome people that I am lucky to spend every Friday with. And I'm just really happy to be here and go over some cool news. And I don't think there's anyone else important to talk to or anything, so let's just hop into the show.
What are you, the petty producer?
Okay, so let me introduce you to Noir. Noir, please
The
actually...
Noir Enigma.
The enigma known as Noir. Please.
Wait.
everybody.
Is
Wait,
Noir,
what's good?
is Noir muted? Are
Am
we
I
good?
muted?
Noir, are you muted?
Are we good?
I half feel like if I'm muted, it's on purpose.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So confused.
Oops, my finger slipped.
Hey, everybody, I'm Noir. What do I got going on? Tomorrow, I'm going to a Renaissance fair. So that's going to be
Oh,
fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I've got, this is only going to be my second time going. And the second time that I'm going, I have the exact opposite problem that I had the first time. The first time, I didn't have anything to wear. This time, I've got too many things to wear. So I've got to figure out what I'm like. I've got a full set of armor just kind of chilling there. So like,
Whoa.
I don't know what to do.
Hey, Noir, chat's wondering what that hand is in the background there.
What?
Over your
Oh.
other... Yeah, the
that's
hand.
it.
Yeah.
You know that ominous hand
I
that's just
remember
there?
that one.
Oh, it's a shield.
Yeah,
Oh.
my shield.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
Cool.
that's-
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
all. That's all
That's
that is.
awesome.
Yeah.
Are you going to be bringing
Yeah.
that to the Ren Fair with you?
I might, but this is a really. So this was a really crappy Captain America World War I shield that I painted over. So I want to get a better shield. It's almost made out of tin. Look at it.
Oh, wow, yeah.
It's not.
Yeah,
It's not great. So yeah.
Yeah, you should get a steel shield. That way you get a really good workout.
Okay. Can I actually, Noir, I want to ask you, so you have to come up with a specific kind of outfit for this? Or are you going to be going
Yeah.
for like, you said one day, or?
I'm going for one day.
Okay,
One
so
day.
you do have to maybe make some kind of amalgamate outfit of all of your various Renaissance festival things?
Yes. And we
Okay.
are looking at the weather being around 72 degrees tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you should go full
Okay.
armor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're trying to get a new host, you can just say that.
Don't die.
Oh,
No,
God, heat
no.
stroke immediately. Look
No
at how
other,
big
no,
I
other,
am.
no one else would put up with all the stuff we say to you.
Oh my gosh, of course. Yeah. I can't perform without Noir here.
No,
You know that.
that's no.
So now that we are caught up with all of these amazing and lovely hosts and everyone is audible,
Yeah, maybe we should get to the news.
yeah, let's hop into the news.
I guess.
Starting with my personal favorite headline. What's on game night, Jayveon?
Tonight we are playing 2 games. This is a TableTakes game night exclusive. We are going to be playing 2 different games. Both of them with a very similar theme to them. So right after TableTakes at 3:30 p.m. PST, we will be playing Inhuman Conditions and Are You a Robot? So Inhuman Conditions is it's a physical card game, but we'll be playing it over Zoom. But basically, one person is interviewing another person, and I will be facilitating this process. You get to watch Marcus and Noir interview one another. And what's going to happen is the interviewer is trying to figure out if the interviewee is a human or a robot. If you are a human, all you have to do is act natural, be really cool, don't sound like a robot, and you won't get killed. Probably. But if you end up being a robot and you're getting interviewed, you have to try not to get killed by sounding human. That's really tough for robots to do, though, because you have all these restrictions on what you can say and how you can say it. Like, there are a lot of goals that you have to accomplish and a lot of
Okay.
restrictions on what you can say. Like, for instance, you might randomly get the restriction that you're not allowed to talk about your past. You don't have any past memories. You can't talk about it. You can only talk about the future or the present, what's going on right now.
Oh.
Or your aspirations, or just like imagining.
That sounds
makes the
really
game really
fun.
tough.
That just sounds like
really
living with the trauma that I already have in real life. I'm gonna nail this.
You're gonna be great. I
Then
can't
we
wait.
got a competition, and I'm so excited for
And
this.
then, right after that, we're going to be playing Are You a Robot? Which is made by Steve Jackson Games. It's a tiny little game. It's a packet of 3 cards, and all of us get to play that, except for Peter. Peter can't make it. But we're all going to shuffle up the cards. You got 2 humans and 1 robot. Everybody gets one. And then you will either be a human or a robot. The humans want to shake hands with one another. The humans also want to shoot the robot. And the robot just wants to pretend that they're human and not get caught and shake hands with a human. So we're all deducing who is who. But all you have is talking to one another. You can't, there's nothing else. All you can do is talk.
That sounds so exciting, Jayveon. I am very excited to hop in there and really show Noir what, role-playing is. And just really get in there and
I'm
fired.
I've never role played a day in my life. What is this? Dragons and Dungeons?
But legitimately, Jayveon, thank you so much for running this. We're very excited to have you doing game night with us as always, and so excited for that. But something else I am excited for is battling fairies. Yeah, I said it. I'm going to fight some fairies. I'm going to go to the woods, and I'm going to anger some fairies. That's not a good thing to do. But it is actually kind of the theme of our next game, which I am going to post the link for right now. This is an article we've gotten from Dicebreaker's Chase Carter. The interesting thing about Lilin Kali is that it is somewhere between poetry and an RPG setting. This new game is by John Battle, aka Bats. There's actually several games that they've done that are going to be covered today, so I'm pretty excited about that. This is actually, instead of one RPG setting, it's going to be about 40 mini games, which is why the creator self-described this as an evil WarioWare, which I thought was pretty evil in and of itself. WarioWare, for those who don't know, is a Mario spin-off with a bunch of mini games focused around Wario, a chaotic gremlin man, basically. So the mini games inside of this game, where you are again battling to keep your name from fairies. You do not, especially when it's the AE kind of fairies, those are the ones you got to worry about. Do not give them your name; they will steal your power. And how you stop them from stealing your power are playing these games that range from simplicity, from flipping a coin or a button, to capture the flag, to bloody knuckles. All of the games and all the details detail how the fairies might actually try to cheat to get your name from you and beat you. This is not something you want. You want to hold on to that name. This book is going to contain about 150 pages of black and white text that will feature spells for players to cast and games they might have to play with the fairies they encounter. Sometimes the rules are read like text. Sometimes they're somatic gestures and with effects and durations. And sometimes it's just poetry from the main character's point of view. Overall, this is a really cool looking game. I am pretty excited to. I definitely think I'm gonna. I don't think. I definitely know I'm gonna purchase this the moment I can. Probably between the streams, before game night, I'm gonna buy this. So yeah, I am all on board with this. This is really cool, and I'm not gonna let anyone talk about this game whatsoever.
I thought it was really easy to battle fairies. You just stop believing in them, and then they just like fade away into like the ether, right?
I did a production of Peter Pan years ago, and the teacher told the audience to not to be loud, not to be vocal during the audience. So we got to the scene where they're like, clap if you believe in fairies to bring Tinkerbell back to life, and the kids just looked over at the teacher, and the teacher was like, and I remember like, I guess Tinkerbell's dead for the rest of the play now. We got to improvise this one. So actually, that's a really good point. I will reach out to Bats with a question about that, if fairies are actually that easy to beat. But that might be FAI fairies, not FEAE fairies, which I believe...
Oh, we're not talking about boats.
Oh, see, there's the thing.
Oh.
We're battling boats. Battle boats. Okay. So we might have no one.
I got a battleship. We're gonna sink your ferry so fast.
We might actually need
pretty.
to make this game now. This has gotten off the rails, but as Bonsai's replacement, it is my job to bring it back on. So speaking of things that got off the rails, trains that go off the rails can sometimes be good if the train is a bad train. This is not. I need Bonsai. I gotta call Bonsai real quick.
No.
Jayveon.
Thank you for playing.
Okay. Noir, would you like to tell us about some new games from Steve Jackson's?
Nah.
Noir!
So Steve Jackson is at it again and has unveiled 2 holiday family games. This being brought to us by Jeffrey Dom Sanchez over at ICV2. Steve Jackson unveiled 12 Dice of Christmas and Bad Christmas, 2 holiday family games for the release in Q4. In 12 Dice of Christmas, players attempt to grab dice with the right numbers on them in order to buy presents. They'll also need to prevent the other players from wrapping up their Christmas shopping by strategically claiming the dice. This game comes with seasonal dice bag, and a score pad, and it's going to retail for $14.95, which is a very nice price to destroy your family during Christmas. Bad Christmas is going to be a card game where awful presents are exchanged between players. Players need to choose from tuna-flavored candy canes, wind-up fruit cakes, and more, and claim their favorites from their gift list as fast as they can. This game comes with 19 cards and a rule sheet and pad of gift lists for $9.95. Steve Jackson Games will also release Munchkin Turtle Carnage, a new mini expansion for the classic card game. Basically, Steve Jackson is out here trying to ruin your relationships, and this time we're doing it with a bit of a seasonal flavor. So if you want chestnuts and arguments, then you need to quickly pick these 2 up so you can really just go to town on your family. Let them know how you really feel after they take the dice that you needed for the win. Let grandma know what you really think about her.
I am more taken aback by the tuna flavored candy canes.
Yeah.
That is something that I know is going to pop up eventually, and I am so terrified of that.
See, the thing is, if they commit to it purely being tuna flavored, I might rock with it. But if it's like tuna and candy cane flavored, then somebody's going to jail.
I guess it also depends if it's like ahi tuna or just like Subway tuna. You know, we have to figure that out.
You know what the worst Christmas gift I ever got was?
What?
Somebody bought me dishes. They said, "Hey, stop using paper plates and plastic silverware all the time. You need real dishes."
Hey,
what a horrible gift. That's the gift of a chore. That's a gift of work.
They tried to get you to step up in life. Listen, it's a hard day, but it comes when you realize I can't keep using plastic silverware forever.
Why not? Why not? They're cheap. They're biodegradable or recyclable.
I mean, they're not biodegradable.
They're not.
The ones I buy.
Okay.
I only buy
bamboo knives.
Environment safe bamboo skin paper plates and plastic cups.
Well, save us, Marcus.
We've now learned a lot about Jayveon. But next, we're going to learn a lot about a really cool expansion coming from one of our favorite groups. Peter, would you like to take us?
I would love to. This comes from Chase Carter at Dicebreaker. It's a first expansion for Coyote and Crow. Coyote and Crow is an amazing role-playing game. We've covered it quite a bit on this channel. In case you're not familiar with it, in the Coyote and Crow RPG, the setting is imagine that the North America was never colonized by Europeans. And so Native American indigenous cultures grew, but then there was an apocalypse, and now it's 700 years later, And so it throws in science fiction and post-apocalyptic, and then magic shows up and starts changing the land and the people. The artwork is amazing. The entire project was designed and illustrated by a collection of native or indigenous artists and writers. So, I mean, the setting itself. So, more of this is obviously a great idea. This is the brainchild of Connor Alexander, who is a Cherokee designer himself. So the expansion is coming out. It's a dice game called Nasai. This is a actual dice game, but it's also played within the world of Coyote and Crow. So it's a push your luck sort of mechanic, like a Yahtzee, but improved, more developed, more depth, like we gamers really like to see. And I think it's really cool. So there's going to be on Backer Kit. There will be the crowdfunding program for this that will start on September 13th. So mark your calendars. Definitely want to check this out.
Yeah, that is really cool. I'm a big fan of Coyote and Crow itself, but I think the thing that is always fascinating to me, we talked about this a little bit before the show, but it's in-game games that become a part of that become playable themselves. I am excited for that. I'm also excited that Coyote and Crow is doing so well that they were able to do another expansion on Backer Kit. That is fantastic.
It reminded me of something I'd forgotten that I used to do, like back in the 80s when I used to oftentimes like have a scene that's a poker game, and we'd play poker as a scene in a Dungeons and Dragons game. I love that. And I love doing it because I'm actually pretty good at cheating at cards. Not that I would ever cheat in at real life, but I did learn how to do some card cheating. And so if you do it as a role-playing game as the dungeon master, then you can cheat and it's fun. You're not doing anything bad. You're just being a good dungeon master, putting up obstacles in front of the players.
I love this energy, and now I know not to gamble with Peter.
Oh,
at least in cards.
Really
Speaking of gambling, have you ever found a monster and just said, open up, I'm going to reach my hand in there and see what's what? Well, if you haven't, then Jayveon might have a story for you. Jayveon, would you like to take this one away?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Coming soon this fall, Asmodee is releasing Box Monster. Box Monster is a family-oriented game about, well, a box monster. This box monster likes to eat. It likes to eat pretty much everything. You name it. Pizza, monkeys, grandma's false teeth. It eats whatever you put inside it. So the way the game works is everyone takes turns helping to drop a bunch of tokens inside the box. And then the box monster gets indigestion. And you gotta make the box monster feel better with surgery.
I love kids' games.
You have to insert your hand with everybody else at the same time, and you're all trying to find the specific item that's causing the most damage. Did I mention that there's a gun? Box Monster eats a gun, and you have to try to find it's like a ray gun, so it's like safe for kids, but you have to try to find the gun that the Box Monster ate.
Just make sure it's not loaded, right?
Yeah. Ray guns across the board, safe for kids.
Not like a bullet that like normal
lasers can't hurt kids.
The whole gun. Lasers can't hurt kids or monsters. So yeah, like I think it's a really cool idea to have this be a cooperative thing instead of a competitive thing. So you're not like smacking people's hands away or pinching people or anything like that. You're actually working together, trying not to bump into each other while you're trying to find this very specific item.
This is such a cute game. The art is fun. I love I love cooperation. I love dexterity games. I'm a sucker for dexterity games.
It's really cool, and it just reaffirms my assertion that kids get all the best board games. I don't know if you've ever heard of Ghost Blitz. This game is very similar to it, where you're like trying to grab the right item that shows up on a card before everybody else does. There's all these like modular games that are, designed towards kids, but like show me a kid's room that has this game and I'm gonna be like, hey, can I borrow it? Oh, also releasing this fall, keep your eye out for some other Asmodee new releases, such as Bezaviza, which is the German word for know-it-all. It's basically a gambling trivia game where you gamble on your own knowledge.
I like this. I like that.
There's also 3,000 Scoundrels, which is a bluffing game where you're trying to use these card crafting scoundrels to outwit your opponents. And then we've also got Splendor Duel, which was only recently announced, actually, and is the one-on-one, two-player version of Splendor. That's sort of the successor to the original that we've already heard of.
I'd definitely be getting that. My wife and I love Splendor. That's
yeah.
a fantastic game.
I agree 100%. I was talking with Elisa, who was working with us at Gen Con this last year, and it was just so many people like Splendor, and I didn't know this. I thought it was just me. No one I know plays it with me. So I'm always, this is fantastic. And Duel, I can make my brother sit down, and I could fight my brother in Splendor. That's amazing.
Yeah. And it's so popular because it's like really accessible, and the two-player version is going to make it even better for 2 players because it introduces a bunch of new concepts, mechanics, like the new resource pearls, and I believe it's not reputation, like nobility, preference. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. It's a little scroll that you get. It's like reparations or something. It's basically a token that you get because your opponent got some really cool stuff. Definitely check it out. We'll talk about it next week, maybe. We'll see.
Well, that sounds really, really sweet and sugary. Really sweet, sugary, floury, baking, and all sorts of things. What do you think, Noir?
Huh? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it sounds. I'm gonna keep messing with you. That does sound sweet. What else sounds? You know what else sounds sweet? Dulce, which is a new game from Stronghold Games. Stronghold Games has announced Dulce, a game about competitive confectionaries set to release on September 7th. This news being brought to us by William Niebling over at ICV2. Thank you very much. In Dulce, players compete to create the perfect desserts from farm to table. First, players strategically plant beans such as cacao, vanilla, and peanuts on their personal player board, then harvest them for use in their factories to create tasty treats. The cards in the game are multi-purpose, depicting beans on one side and a factory on the other. Each player has an identical deck, and they all draw the same cards during each round of play, reducing the whims of chance. After the matching cards are found, players simultaneously choose how to use their cards for planting, harvesting, or building new factories. Points are awarded for successfully gathering the beans required to create sweets, with victory going to the players with the most points after 20 rounds of play. Dulce was created by Julio E. Nazario of Holly and Festival of Color and Control, and it is intended for 1 to 4 players ages 14 and up, and plays for about half an hour. MSRP is going to be $39.99. I think this is going to be a fun one, especially if you have snacks at the table, like sweet treats that only the winners get to eat.
Exclusively for the winners.
Yes, so just get a big bowl of Reese cups because those are the best sweet treats, if you ask me. And then once the game is over, whoever wins gets to eat all of them, and the losers have to watch.
They have to watch the whole time. Okay.
They don't get to leave the table until the Reese's are finished.
It's a part of the process. Well, I think we figured out what game night Noir is going to run. That is...
You don't get to leave until I'm through.
Same thing goes with the chat, though. The audience has to sit through the whole thing as well.
You watch me.
This seems really cool. The box, the design looks gorgeous as usual from them. This is really cool. Thank you so much for sharing that, Noir.
No, it is my pleasure.
So we all know a thing or two about Mind Goblins, but Jayveon, would you like to tell us about Mind Dungeons?
Sure. So,
Mind Goblin,
Mind Dungeons, can be found in a new game from, I believe it was John Battle, or I think he just goes by Bats. My body is a cage, sorry, I said that wrong. My Body is a Cage is a RPG set in a world where you have this sort of duality between the day and the night. You're playing this sort of slice of life game where you go through normal, everyday, sort of mundane interactions. But at night, when you go to sleep, you dive into a dungeon and you try to bring back treasure from that dream world into the real world. The really cool part about it is that you're using this 2d6 system where you're just rolling dice hoping to get high enough to actually succeed at everyday tasks like succeeding at completing a job, or how did your stroll through the park go, or did you defeat the minotaur at the end of the labyrinth, normal 2d6 things. But you also get a bingo card that serves as sort of not only your character sheet but also your task list, your to-do list that you're using. And whenever you complete tasks, like in bingo, in a diagonal line or one of the horizontal straight lines, then you actually get more dice to use for tasks that you might need to accomplish to forge better relationships with the people around you. Though two worlds are sort of this like balance where each of them affects the other. So anything that you do in the daytime is going to affect the dreams that you have in the dungeons. Vice versa, you could take the treasures out from the dreams and give them to people. It might be the perfect thing that somebody needs to solve an issue that they've been having. It's really cool. There was a Kickstarter last year for it, and actually really cool. Last week, we announced the Indie Game Developer Network 2022 Groundbreakers Award winners. And this one actually won Most Innovative. If you take a look at the link that's in chat, you can take a look at johnbattle.itch.io's My Body is a Cage page, where you can buy it for only $10. But I swear, if you just look at it for even like 10 seconds, you'll see so much content that it has available. It looks like there's like a word search for collecting equipment. It's got all kinds of extra materials and supplements for creating monsters and creating the actual campaign. It looks really, really cool. And this is actually the same designer who made the game that we were talking about earlier. What was it called? Lilin Kali?
Lilin Kali.
Lilin Kali. Same designer, actually. Making lots of waves out there in the RPG world. So definitely give this one a try, because I know I'm going to be playing this one for a while.
Like you said, lots of waves, lots of new games, and also lots of there's so many interesting mechanics and elements to these games. Like you were mentioning before the show, that there's just so much to it. And to have 3 games on our list this week from from part of the same person is kind of awesome. But you know what else is awesome? Drinking the blood of the living. Noir, do you have anything to say about that? Noir.
Yes, yes.
I will take every Vampire the Masquerade thing from you for the rest of time.
Fight me in the pit. 2 new clans for Vampire the Masquerades have been introduced in the Dragon and the Rogue. Renegade Game Studios. Why is that hard to say? Renegade Game Studios. All right. We'll add 2 new clans to Vampire the Masquerade Rivals expandable card game. And it's the Dragon and the Rogue expansion, due out Q4. This article coming to us from Milton Prep over on ICV2. Thank you very much. The expansion will introduce the Semice clan, who seek to possess and distort the world around them, and the Rathnos clan, whose distortions are of the mental variety. The new clans may be played with the core set, which is needed to play, and other expansions. The expansions also include a 30-card crypt deck which adds more ways to alter and customize your decks. And for 2 to 4 this is for 2 to 4 players, 14 and up. The Dragon and the Rogue requires 30 to 7 minutes to play. This is going to be the 5th expansion for Rivals. The 4th was the Heart of Europe. So yeah, very excited for anything that brings new lore to Vampire, because it's going to spread its way around the entire VTM ecosystem. uh, which is always awesome. Which is always awesome to see. I feel like they should add more stuff to VTM Chicago. That's just me, but hey, that's I might be a little biased.
Just a little bit.
Just a touch, you know.
You've played a lot of Vampire the Masquerade. Who would you say this, not just the expansion, but like Vampire the Masquerade, typically like appeals to? What kind of audience do they have?
So it really appeals to people that I like to say that Vampire the Masquerade is far more political than it is combat. So if it's for those people that it's for those people that love watching like reality TV shows, if you ask me.
Really?
It's like that. Like, you know, if you're in a beef with this one player, then you know you can really cause some trouble down the line for them by just kind of hurting their prospects. We're in like D&D, the whole point is kind of to be a party and to like we're going to fight an external thing.
Okay.
Like a lot of the conflict in VTM, as I've experienced, have been internal things, which is we have to work together, but also I hate your guts. So like,
You now kind of sold me on this. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, I have a my nephew-in-law who is a big vampire LARPer. He told me that the media, the show or movie that is the most accurate portrayal of what it's like to be in a vampire LARP is What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh,
Now
It can
Jayveon
be.
gets it. Jayveon, you get it now,
yeah.
right?
Now I'm on board.
Oh, okay. That is fantastic. That might be. I wonder if you could. I have so many. I've never played Vampire the Masquerade, but I've always been very interested in this. But I also now kind of want to run the Real Housewives of the VTM. I think I might be able to get that going, but I might need to use Fiasco for that engine.
And it looks
Hey,
like this. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you can always blend the two. That's kind of becoming
Yeah.
the thing that's really taking off, which is people taking two different systems and using the best of them to tell the kind of story that they want to tell, like the court Fae that's on Dimension 20 right now.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, hey, there is the great thing about games is there's just so many possibilities and so many new things and old things that you could take and choose from. There is a new thing, though, that I would like to cover, and I don't want to waste our time. Peter, do you have something?
If you waste my time, I will be a rebel against you because I am a Rebel of the Waste. Yes, Rebel of the Waste is a tabletop RPG from Banana Chan.
Banana Chan!
Banana Chan! So the coverage, this was announced by Alex Meehan at Dice Breakers. In this game, now Sarah Moore wanted to make sure we mentioned this. This is the most important thing for Sarah's table, I suspect, is stickers. You can get stickers in this game. You use stickers to represent your characters. But there's also more to it than that. So this game is inspired by My Chemical Romance and Tank Girl. So if you like the vibe of those properties, you would probably like this. Players explore a hyper-saturated dystopian world that's controlled by a tyrannical collective of powers. And you, of course, are the rebels. And the rebels fight back with the power of friendship and attitude to stick it to the man. Hey, wait a minute. Somebody said, Peter, you're the man to me before. Oh, no, I'm not. Am I the target in this game?
Yes.
No, that can't be. That can't be. As rebel players, you will also ride motorcycles, go punk, and go retro futuristic cowboy. So it's set in a post-apocalyptic version of California. And the mechanics are similar, inspired by, powered by the apocalypse, and has the players making choice of when to roll dice or not to roll dice, not the GM. That's it. Absolutely. And the art looks great in the article. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It felt to I felt like Burning Man a bit to me. I mean, I don't know. Anyway.
I mean, sorry. Yeah. So this looks like you said it was inspired by My Chemical Romance and Tank Girl. That screams punk to me because I love MCR, and Tank Girl is one of the best movies, especially about like post-apocalyptic stuff. So this definitely sounds like a really cool RPG. It's definitely very similar to the really popular ones that we've seen before. Might have heard of one called Dune.
Yeah, this is clearly taking inspiration from Danger Days era My Chemical Romance, not so much the Black Parade. Not that I'm a fan or anything. I'm gonna just see myself.
This is called Table Takes and not My Chemical Romance Takes.
It's always My Chemical Romance Takes. My Hot Chemical Romance Takes.
We are rebranding.
Listen, Marcus, when I was a young boy, my father.
Oh my gosh! Well, speaking of inspirations,
speaking of
the marching band.
So, Jayveon, if I'm not correct, TableTakes asked, "What is your name?" And the game that we are covering next responded, "We are Legion."
Yeah.
Would you please cover this Legion?
Sure.
That's how it works.
You don't have to explain that one to me afterwards because I have no idea what that was. We Are Legion. I do know what that one is. It is a solo TTRPG. It's actually been inspired by the movie Hereditary and the virtual alternative hip hop, electronic alt rock band Gorillaz. Now, okay, I haven't actually seen Hereditary because you all know how I feel about horror. But I did see a little bit of a synopsis, kind of a summary. I think it's about a family with like a child who has to get like sacrificed to a cult.
I think you should talk about the game and not Hereditary because you don't know the plot of Hereditary.
I mean, I know the plot of Hereditary. If you want me to just give it to you real quick,
I really thought I had it. Dang it!
We are way Legion. Off.
But how about this game, We Are Legion, a new solo
We Are
RPG?
Legion is about being a demon. It's supposed to be a solo game, so you're journaling all of your demonic experiences. And it's all about the dark things that live beneath the earth. Very spooky, very scary stuff. It's all about like being a fledgling, a fledgling demon, and you progress through the stages of your hellish life, detailing all your thoughts and your feelings and your memories as you go. It's a very introspective game, much like other solo RPGs. It's all about you creating the story, but it's like sort of guided journaling. So it's it's really out there for folks who love this kind of style. If you like that sort of old school, sort of gothic horror kind of vibe, it's got plenty of art that will like speak to that kind of aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you guys have played RPGs that are similar to this kind of thing. I don't play a lot of scary stuff, like scary RPGs, but I mean, you know, like if you like Vampire the Masquerade, like Noir does, it's definitely up your alley.
Yeah, I was gonna say this seems. I like the concept that you are just journaling your way through your demonic experiences. It's basically just me doing a diary about my daily life. Like that works out so well.
Just possess somebody and spun my head. Ooh woo.
So this has nothing to do with the Roman Empire.
No, I don't think so.
Not that I can tell.
Okay, all right.
Wait, hold on. No, it doesn't. I had a triple check on that one.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that sounds really awesome, Jayveon. Thank you for sharing that, and thank you all for wrapping up our headlines. But even though our headlines are gone for the day, it is time for our Bundle Boss.
Yay!
Jayveon, would you take it away?
Absolutely. Yes, today I am the Bundle Boss, and I've got some Dungeon Crawl Classics essentials to provide for you. Back from April 2021, Bundle of Holding is bringing back the Dungeon Crawl Classics bundle. For just $14.95, you get 4 massive virtual Dungeon Crawl Classics RPG books. You get the whole rule book, as well as the Sailors on the Starless Sea, the Black Heart of Thakulon, the Undying, and the DCC Judges screen. Now, all of these things are huge ebooks that are DRM free, which means you can use them in your virtual tabletop groups, and you can jump from one group to another, no problems. Also on offer is the DCC Chaos Rising bundle, which is going to provide a lot more interesting content for you to add onto your games after you've gotten the starter set, the essentials. So the low level collection is going to add on the Accursed Heart of the World Ender, the Well of the Worm, and three level 2 DCC RPG modules. But if you bump up from the $10 level to the higher level collection, you also get the Chaos Rising, Empire of the East, and 4 DCC modules leveled 4 to 6. So much content for Dungeon Crawl Classic. If you don't already know what it is one of the best nostalgic, old school style fantasy RPG settings and systems that's built on a premise that you are going to use sorcery and sword to try to overcome the hyper dangerous world. I mean, it is super, super deadly. I love running funnels for all my friends so they can get a taste of how deadly this game is. Man, I love this game so much. I think we should run it for TableTakes game night when Peter is available to do it.
I think that seems like we have to do it then.
Yes, I agree.
Medically,
and now
we have to do it then.
And now I've got a brand new funnel that I've never run. Well, okay, Noir's not important. It's a cool a level 0 funnel called Accursed Heart of the World Ender, which is about a motley group of pilgrims, but one of them's royal, and if you can draw the 7-tree spear from the stone, you are named king. So that sounds pretty cool. I think that's the one I'm going to run for you guys.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
cool. That's awesome.
You had me at motley group of pilgrims.
Oh, really? That's what they did for you?
I'm there.
I actually am super unfamiliar with Dungeon Crawl Classics, minus seeing them for this and talking with Jayveon a little bit about it and seeing some at Gen Con a couple weeks ago. The art in this is exactly what I'm looking for when I see this, like, you know, the really that kind of period of time where fantasy looked like this. That is something that I vibe with 100%. This looks really cool, and one of the coolest things about this is after the gateway fees, Dungeon Crawl Classics is going to be donating to the San Francisco Food Bank in Marin County, which is awesome.
That's right. So, Bundle Holding always donates a huge amount of the fees or the proceeds from their bundles to charities. Often it's like things like Direct Relief, which provides resources, much needed resources for pandemic relief across the world. And yes, this time it is donating to San Francisco Marion Food Bank, designated by the DCC RPG publisher, Joseph Goodman. Thank you so much to Bundle Holding. Check out the link in chat if you want to pick up some Dungeon Crawl Classics.
And thank you so much to our bundle boss, Jayveon. You have succeeded in making me want to spend my money to help people and myself. So that's excellent. But we are nearing one of the most contentious times in our show. The last several minutes where we take these folks through Crowdfunder Court. And of course, if you do not know the rules of Crowdfunder Court, if your crowdfunder is not met with uproarious applause, according to Bonsai, off with the head. So, Peter, why don't you go first?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a great, I have an excellent case to bring before the court. Sea of Legends, Vengeance of Empires. This is an expansion for Sea of Legends. This is by Zach Weissman. Zach is the son of Jordan Weissman, famous for FASA and BattleTech and Shadowrun and WizKids. So it's just great to see his son, also becoming a gaming entrepreneur, game designer. So Sea of Legends, if you miss it, is a great game, and this is an expansion for that game. So you play pirates who are competing or fighting with other pirates, and also worried about the authorities. You're raiding ports, buried treasure. You can fall in love. You can defeat your nemesis to become the most legendary pirate in the open sea. But what also takes it to the next level is there is this an elaborate narrative path that is run that you can run on your mobile device or on iPad or something that comes with the board game. That is kind of like, I guess, what it looks like to me is like if you imagine like a pick a path adventure, but with several people playing a board game and following their own pick a path. I don't know how this is going to work. I'm very intrigued to find out. It has also really cool miniatures. It's a board game, but it has really cool miniatures and this narrative thing that this narrative idea that ties it all together. The miniatures, though, yes, there's miniatures for all the player characters, but there's also miniatures for the Kraken. And the picture shows like a head of a Kraken, that's one part of the board, and then like a tail part of the Kraken and another part of the board. And then, it's really as if the Kraken were as big as the Caribbean Sea. Okay, so I don't know, that's pretty cool. But there's also, there's my friend the Baileys, they would love to paint these miniatures for me, I bet. Yeah. You also have factions like the Spanish Armada, and for those you get miniatures of ships, the Atlantean usurpers, who I guess they kind of look look like humans, but they're riding fish. I'm not sure what happens when the fish submerge. Anyway, there's British, the British Empire, the redcoats, and some weird cannon that looks like a blunderbuss cannon. I don't know, that looks cool. There's merfolk. That's cool. And the Dread Tide, which are undead. So all sorts of cool factions with miniatures, with this interesting narrative thing that ties it together. I don't know, it looks pretty cool. They've raised 155 grand so far. They have 20 days to go. I'm definitely buying this.
That is awesome, Peter. And that means that you, fortunately, get to keep your head.
Yeah.
But can we say the same? Can we say the same about our next presenter, Noir?
I'm skeptical.
Noir, I'm watching you.
All right, look. Sea of Legends sounds amazing, but you're gonna need a place to play it, right? You can play it on the floor if you want to. You can play it on your game, on your table if you want to. But I think that what you should need to do is treat yourself to a brand new gaming table, and Project Ironsides got your back with a $399 extendable board game table that's hecka affordable in comparison to some of the other tables out there. Let me tell you a little bit about it. This Kickstarter wraps up October 11th, 2022. Project Ironside is quick and easy to assemble. The table frame is made of the 4 legs and 4 rails, which uses an included custom Allen key to connect. It's great for conventions or having around the house or for events, because it takes all of 5 minutes to put this table together, and it has extendable pieces, so you can go from having a table that can fit 4 people to having a table that can fit 8 people. And if you aren't using those extended table leaflets, then you can actually put pegs on them and have a mini table, or have a raised level on your gaming table, so you can actually have people that are flying and the people on the ground at your table. Is real dope. So that is Project Ironside. Please give it a look. It's extraordinarily cool. I think I just moved into a new apartment. I want all my furniture to be comfortable, to be stylish, and also to be useful for gaming. And this, I think, is the one that I'm looking forward to getting. Now, if with a table that sweet, you're gonna need another really awesome game to play on it, right? There's no such thing as too many games. So the other game that I got for you is Tales from Sina Una. Now, I know that you've already heard of Sina Una. It's swept the tabletop community. Well, now it's back. Tales from Sina Una is a 200 plus page adventure anthology featuring artists and writers, both new and old, to the islands of Sina Una, presenting 10 brand new adventures that take place across the island of the world. Fight, survive, and overcome the dangers and challenges of spirits, monsters, people, or even the gods themselves as you delve into a world inspired by pre-colonial Filipino mythology and culture. To help with these new threats and foes, you'll find new subclasses, new feats, new magic items that you can find across the islands. This is brought to you by the same team that brought you the original Sina Una, along with new talent. You can't go wrong with this. Sina Una has been tried and tested. Everyone from Matt Mercer in Critical Role to anybody you can think of has gotten their hands on this book. It has gotten the chef kiss all the way around. So you've got about 5 days left to back this. Please go. Show some support. It's being run by my friend HTT Paladin, who always puts out quality Kickstarters. So you know what to do. Go support this Kickstarter right away.
So I gotta say, it was close. But then you brought up Sina Una. You brought up Sina Una, and I love Sina Una. So this needs to go. That's gone. It's gone.
Yeah!
No, I have decreed no one shall be losing their head on this fine day unless you're a robot in later's game.
When you threw that sword, I was like cringing, waiting for a cat to go.
That would be that cat needs to stop breaking into my house. For those of you who don't know, there's a stray cat that keeps breaking into my house and eating my pasta. So that's what I have going on right now.
There you go.
And he seems to hate Mondays.
He hates Mondays. Oh my gosh! I just made that Garfield connection. Okay, we don't have time to talk about Garfield because we have covered the latest, the greatest, the hottest, and the most wonderful news in tabletop today. But do not go anywhere because we still have some fun for you today. So up next, we have TableTakes Game Night, where, as we said, Jayveon will be running Robot Game is what I wrote, because that was when he was typing or telling me about it. Jayveon, what's the name of that game?
Inhuman Conditions, and Are You a Robot?
Fantastic. So stick around at 3:30. We're going to have a little break, and we'll be there for those two wonderful games. And then at 5, stick around for some joyful gaming around Sarah's Table. They're playing part 2 of the Root RPG. I am so excited because part 1 was a cliffhanger, and I want to see what happens next. So tune in there. If you are curious what we have going on the weekends, this Sunday, continuing Nerd Botchery Adventures. If you like D&D, if you like cosplay, if you like some really fun performers having a great time and looking great doing it, check that out. Then, of course, we have a whole week of content, as always. We have board games with the brothers Murph, where the brothers Nick and Mike play games, and they chat with chat and have a great old time. But don't forget, then Tuesday at 4 p.m., we have Out of Character with Mark Tassin, where he interviews various guests from nerdy cultures, things, and kind of helps them drop out of character and just kind of, talk about what they love, what made them a nerd. And that's always a delight for me. But don't forget, we also have 6 p.m. on Wednesday. It is Heaven Week, which means we are just about to get that movie night. I am so excited for the Snack Attack. Keep an eye out at the end. I will be there for a little bit in that movie.
Yes, that's right. You are in this movie.
I'm excited.
I saw a little bit of a clip earlier. It was so cool.
Marcus plays a vampire.
I am very happy with that.
Count, can you say his name?
Vricolicus.
Very good.
On
set, they started calling him Vricola Dick.
Yeah, that's
they did.
Yeah.
It's probably the appropriate thing to do with that character, to be real.
He's a vampire.
Well, on Thursdays at 10 a.m., we also have Blood on the Clock Tower, a social deduction game with Ben Burns, the creator. So check that out. It's a lot of fun. And then at 4, we have Roll with Rem Alternus, a bunch of Shadowrun games, developers, interviews. It is awesome. Please check that out. And then, of course, Friday, we have TableTakes, Game Night, Sarah's Table, and we're just all back on that cycle. So we can't be on that cycle without you. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for viewing and sticking around. Thanks, these lovely hosts. If you want to check out VODs, they'll be on Twitch and YouTube around 24 hours. My name is Marcus, and this has been TableTakes. You can follow me at Best Kinda Worst. Where can they follow you, Jayveon?
You can find me at JAV Smith on Twitter and at GrannyStank69 on Roblox.
How about you, Noir?
You can find me all over the internet as The Noir. That's Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and OnlyFans.
Okay. And Peter, how about yourself?
Personally, I'm only on Facebook as Peter Adkison. I'm also Actoroki and Gen Con TV, and I'm either in Actoroki or producing or involved with it somehow every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time here on Gen Con TV.
Fantastic. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining us again for another wonderful Friday. And please don't forget to follow Gen Con TV here for the best 4 days of gaming all year long.